What's going on, friends? There's been a lot of things going on at Harley-Davidson, and a lot of it hasn't been good. A lot of it has been painful. It doesn't sound good, but it's all to move the company in the right direction. Now, you might be wondering why Harley-Davidson, amidst of all these things going on, trying to right the company, why they're still continuing a lot of programs that you would think would be very counterproductive to what they're trying to do at Harley-Davidson while they're bleeding money. Now, eliminating parties and having to downsize a little bit at Harley-Davidson, that is one thing. But some things Harley-Davidson just cannot cut, and that is definitely research and development to keep the company moving forward. Harley-Davidson being in the middle of layoffs, dealership closures, all kinds of negative things going on out there at Harley, they are still continuing to be both feet in with the racing program, and not only are they both feet in, they're head first into it because they're continuing to expand it and support it even more. Now, on the surface, this probably looks absolutely ridiculous to be pouring money into a racing program when all Harley-Davidson pretty much does is build cruisers and touring motorcycles. But it really is important that Harley-Davidson continue to be involved and keep pushing the racing program forward. Everything that Harley-Davidson learns out on the track comes back to their production line, and everything on that production line is what you buy in the dealerships. Guys, please don't forget, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. The best product test bed is definitely on a racetrack. This is where Harley-Davidson can push their engines to the absolute limit in horsepower, torque, and all the technology, and actually have a place to really push it, blow it up, come back, figure out what went wrong, fix it, and go repeat the process. This is much better than an engineer coming up with an idea that they think might work, and Harley-Davidson putting it together, taking it out to the proving grounds, and pushing as hard as they can out there in that controlled environment without all the different factors that you have in racing conditions. That right there is what makes R&D on a racetrack the absolute benefit to Harley-Davidson, and maybe kind of why it does make a little bit of sense for Harley-Davidson to dump all the money into it that they are. Now, the best thing about the racing program right now is these aren't some crazy off-the-wall proprietary engines like we've seen in the past when Harley-Davidson's gone racing. Not only that, Harley-Davidson isn't outsourcing this racing program to a private company like Vance and Hines. They're using the Milwaukee 8, the same Milwaukee 8 that they sell on the showroom floor, but it has been heavily modified to go racing. And one of the benefits of that is a lot of that stuff is available to the public. Some of it may be super top secret Harley-Davidson parts, but the good news is that this allows them to test what the limits of the engine are and produce better production parts that go into the production motorcycles. Now, understandably, they're not going to give you all the race parts off the race bikes in a stock motorcycle, as we've already seen what happened when they did that on the 131RR, that CVO model that was about 110 grand. That's what happens when you pretty much take the race bike and make it available as is to the public. Now, obviously, racing isn't cheap. It costs a lot of money to pay a team, to pay the riders, and to build these motorcycles that they're building with all the crazy space-age parts on them. Basically, everything that you're going to see on a superbike, they're putting on a Harley-Davidson Road Glide. Is pretty much the frame and the engine, but a lot of the parts are available to you. But guys, we have already seen the benefits of the racing program, especially in the second generation Milwaukee 8 with the improved heads, the improved cooling, and not only that, the racing program is part of what helped solve the sumping issue on the Milwaukee 8 when they redesigned the oil pump. Even the new redesign of the Batwing fairing, the shark nose fairing, love it or hate it, it is more aerodynamic, and arguably, depending on your taste and preference as far as how it looks and feels, it does work better than the original designs. Now, guess what? That didn't happen by accident or magic. That came, once again, from lessons learned on the racetrack. Harley-Davidson continuing to be involved in the racing program has helped improve a lot of the aftermarket performance parts from Screaming Eagle that you could buy for your motorcycle. A lot of times the Screaming Eagle parts were a little bit questionable. I mean, granted, they got to operate inside a box to be for warranty purposes and also to maintain emissions, but they're a hell of a lot better than they used to be now that Harley-Davidson's been back on the track, pushing these motorcycles harder than ever. But Harley-Davidson's taken what they've learned on the track and they've used that knowledge and that experience to create better aftermarket performance parts. Not only that, obviously the stock parts have improved too. I mean, just generally gauging by the second generation Milwaukee 8, they made some huge improvements in horsepower, torque, cooling, everything as I mentioned. Now, what does come into play is that between the race bike and the production bike, they've got to find a healthy balance there to give you the quality, but not overdo it to where they make the bike so stupid expensive, everybody's going to laugh at it, nobody wants it. As I mentioned, the CVO 131RR, that's absolutely ridiculously priced, and probably a good thing that I made those in limited numbers. The best parts about the Harley-Davidson racing program is that they are doing it in-house. Used to, they would just put stickers on a motorcycle and they would send it off to, Vance and Hines is a great example with the drag racing program, the dirt track program. They let Vance and Hines do all the work, all the development, just put Harley-Davidson on it, and especially with the drag bikes, there was nothing Harley-Davidson in those motorcycles whatsoever. That was completely proprietary, built from the ground up, Vance and Hines, and it just said Harley-Davidson on the side. Now, the fact that Harley-Davidson is absolutely involved in doing it in-house means that everything that they learn, they get it from the source, back to the source, and they can all talk about it. It's not a, hey, go run the hell out of this and then come back and tell me what you learned. By Harley-Davidson doing this, they've created a better Milwaukee 8, and yes, believe it or not, a better Revolution Max engine. Hell, a lot of your favorite Harley engines actually were derived from their racing program. The engine everybody loves, the Evolution engine. This was actually developed kind of from the racing program from the XR750. That gave birth to the Sportster Evolution engine and the Big Twin Evolution engine. They took the lessons learned out on the track with the XR750 and they applied it to their road-going bikes. The materials used in the engine, moving from cast iron to all aluminum to gear-driven cams, sound kind of familiar when it comes to the Evolution engine? They did the same thing with the XR750. So when Harley-Davidson originally came out with the XR750, it had cast iron cylinders, cast iron heads, and then they moved to the alloy cylinders and heads. They figured it cooled better, and it did. Sound familiar with the shovel head to the Evolution series? But the thing is that they didn't use that alloy because that was really expensive, super light, and it would have driven the cost of the motorcycles up even more. So aluminum for a street-going motorcycle was an excellent alternative. It's part of that balance I was talking about. Now, love it or hate it, the V-Rod was actually derived from Harley-Davidson's road racing plan from back in the day. Harley-Davidson had the VR1000 ready to go in the late 80s. They would have came out and actually been extremely competitive. But I have to give them credit because they didn't start the program till about the mid-90s when corporate green lighted it. And by that time, they were already way behind the curve. But while it did have some success, it just wasn't quite there with what the technology the other manufacturers had at the time. But you can blame corporate for that, for holding them back for about 5-6 years. But nevertheless, the VR1000 from the road racing days, that actually made it into what later became the V-Rod. Wasn't exactly the same engine, it was tweaked a little bit and made a little bit more reliable and user-friendly for the street. Now, while you may not care if Harley-Davidson's involved in any kind of racing or even follow it in any way, shape, or form, Harley-Davidson actually going racing is a very important aspect of the company for all of us. So when you think about it in the research and development terms, it really makes sense for Harley-Davidson to continue to dump money into it, especially with the development on the Milwaukee 8. And yes, even the Revolution Max engine, they're modifying Pan Americas to go road racing with them. And believe it or not, they actually make plenty of power right off the showroom floor. Of course, they're stripped down, but the frame and chassis of those bikes, they handle pretty damn good. And that should be a testament to how well they're actually building that Revolution Max. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Harley-Davidson continuing to dump money into the racing program is a good thing, or do you think it's absolutely ridiculous right now that they're dumping money into racing, even though it's for research and development, while the company's pretty much kind of in flames and they're trying to put out fires? Let me know your thoughts down below. But anyhow, guys, that's all I've got for you this week. If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. But till next week, guys, you stay safe on the streets, ride smart, dodge those cars. Catch you guys back here next week with a brand new video. Thanks for watching.